welcome back to Laura's Plans. So it's been a hot minute. I think it's been about 6 weeks since I've last been able to check in with you regarding my planner systems, and it's been busy. Work and family life and everything in between has seemed to have gotten in the way of me being able to stop in and share with you how things are going for 2022. So I thought I'd take some time today and just kind of walk you through the different elements of the system that I am currently using. I have kind of fluctuated in and out due to work and a lot of different things, but I thought we'd just go ahead and start with the core system and then spread out into the auxiliary elements that I'm using in 2022. So if that's something that interests you, I hope you'll stick around and I will show you what's been happening. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and kind of give you an idea of what's all in front of me, and then I'll dive into each one individually. Front and center is my bullet journal. It's a Lukeström 1917, and it is a bullet journal that I decided to start using for 2022. It's set up in my traditional style, and we'll go through that in a little more detail. Additionally, I also have my bullet journal sidekick, which is a Hobonichi cousin. It basically lives in my purse, kind of goes everywhere with me. It's my scratch pad, it's my catch-all, it's my, whatever I kind of want to do with it. So we're going to talk about that. Then for those of you who were around in December, I do want to say they're in my Moterm covers because I have been traveling, have been doing a lot of stuff outside of my home office, and I just got back from a trip, so I haven't been able to move them back. I'll get around to it, but I did get a chic sparrow to match my other chic sparrows in the Hobonichi week size, and I absolutely adore it, and I know I'll be going back into it shortly. To be honest, I just don't have the wherewithal right now to change covers and everything else. So we're just sticking in these. Off to the left-hand side, I think you guys will notice that there's kind of like a screen. And this has been a true, let me go ahead and, unlock this. This has been a true companion for me all throughout the end of December and into January. I've been utilizing two main systems in here digitally. It allows me to do what I need for work and also allows me to minimize what I'm traveling with for work because I was able to create a work planner and a bullet journal, one that I created myself. And so I am able to take just this unit with me traveling. These went with me on the first trip, and I'll be honest with you, it was just too much. It was too heavy, too much. I never really touched them. So on the second trip, the one I just got back from yesterday, all I did was take this system and it worked really, really well. Now, granted, this isn't the system I work in constantly, but I will say it is becoming more and more of a daily touch, especially with work. As far as work is concerned, it is more and more of a daily touch to help me with my time tracking. And my bullet journal is becoming kind of more of my personal journal and log and kind of place for me to map out and kind of get my mind around things. So we'll talk about that more. And then the last piece that you see is actually something that came in while I was away on this not this last trip, the trip before. But just like everyone, there was that moment where I was watching videos and someone showed the Kinbor products And I thought, wow, that's a really, really good alternative to paying the type of money you pay for Hobonichi products for something that I may jump in and out of multiple times throughout the year. So I did purchase these Kinbor products. This one is the full year weekly planner. It's the vertical planner. And I jump in and out of it as I need or as I want, whatever my kind of intention is. And then I also bought basically what would be a modified Avec. So it has the monthly pages in the front and then it goes into the daily pages, but it only gives you 6 months of daily pages. And then there's another book to this and you pick that up and you run for the last 6 months of the year. And I thought I had it on my desk, but I don't. It's somewhere in this office, and I'm not going to go searching for it. It's somewhere in here. Like I said, I just got back yesterday, so I'm still a little jet lagged a little bit, you know, just that travel and being gone for over a week. It just kind of, I'm getting to it. So these are all the main components of what I'm touching. I'm going to be honest, guys. I have set up multiple different planners in multiple different styles just in case I want to jump in or out of them. But these are this planner and this planner are kind of my mainstays. So we're going to start here. So let's take a look at the bullet journal. In January, when I sat down to set this up, I knew that there were components of the bullet journal that I wanted to have in here, but I also knew that over the next year, I have some major projects that are going to require a lot of travel. And so I wanted to have my cake and eat it too. I wanted to have my bullet journal, but I wanted to have a system that I could jump out of to do what I needed to for work and jump back in here. So I went with a fairly minimal setup on this bullet journal. I put together my key. I tipped in just a 2022 year at a glance. I did create an intentions on the intentions page, kind of a log of my overarching words for each month. Now, I know that a lot of people do words of the year, and I actually do have a word of the year. Let me see, is it here? It's authenticity. But each month, I am identifying two or three words that I feel I need to focus in on for myself that bring me to this idea of authenticity and being my most authentic self. And that is for here, for YouTube, for being authentic with my family and my spouse. That is also about being authentic in my workplace and in my interactions with people on a day-to-day basis. And so I did create this kind of tracker, simple boxes that I will be able to put in the words that I feel I need to really focus in on, or the ideals, the intentions that I need to focus in on that month to build to creating my most authentic life and my most authentic self. So the next page then is my index, and I need to come in and update this. I haven't. I've just been so busy. So, and after the index is my future log. If you've been around the planning world, if you've been around bullet journaling for any amount of time, this layout is fairly common, 3 months to a page. I put the months at the top, major events here, and major to-dos that I need to handle in any given month will get registered here. And so that allows me to keep this collection so that I can refer to it when I am building each month and each week of the time that I'm in this book. After the future log, we jump straight into January. After so many years of doing this, I feel like my system is pretty well set and that I have found what I really want and what I really need in my monthly setup. And I utilize different papers and stickers and washi tapes to make it aesthetically pleasing for me. And I use as much as I want or as little as I want, given the time and phase that I'm in. So this is my January cover page. I utilized an Echo Park paper pack in order to create this kind of wintry theme for the month, because here in Colorado, January hasn't been as wintry as it normally is, and I really wanted it. As always, I have my month on 2 pages because this is the heartbeat of my month, and I do come in and update it to a point. I'll put in the initial tasks that I have mapped out for the month, and as the month goes along, I'll add in more. But generally, when I start to get to my busiest times, like these 2 weeks I was out of town, it gets to be sparse, and I'll come back in for reference sake, and this weekend I'll come back in and fill in everything I need there. My next page is kind of split into 2, but this is more the writer Carol style of 1 line a day. And I think you can see where the busiest time of my month has been thus far. It was from basically Wednesday the 5th until Saturday the 22nd. And I was good in this last week while I was away. I did notate my 1 line a day in my digital bullet journal and was able to transfer it over. It's also where I've taken the Moxie Life Companion. Let me grab one. I purchased these quarterly notebooks. It comes in a pack. So there's 4 for the quarter, and you have the starting pages. And basically what I'm doing is I didn't want to have yet another book. But the beautiful thing is these are perforated pages. So each month I come in, I take out the pages I need for that month. I trim them down just a little bit, and I tip them into my planner in the appropriate places. So I'm able to map out my monthly goals based on the prep work that I did in the Moxie Life system. And I keep them in here because I want to reference them all the time. And I'm not a vertical planner. I will disclose that I did purchase the flagship thinking, oh, I could use that. And the reality is this setup, this kind of, even though it is vertical planning, it's not enough space, and it doesn't include dailies, and I wasn't going to buy the additional daily. It doesn't work for me, but I am using it to kind of do some memory keeping, just kind of, if I feel like it, going in and jotting things down from the day. I'll be honest with you, I've only kind of touched this twice, but I think I will keep this on my little shelf over here because when I do want to touch it, I can. But it was a good learning lesson for me. I used it the first 2 weeks of January, and it didn't work. It's not for me. I love watching Cindy and Lincoln and a few others do their planning like that. But the stickering and all of that, it just didn't work. It just didn't work for me. So I learned my lesson, and that's okay. It was an expensive lesson, but I will say the companion notebooks have been wonderful, and it's something that I will continue using. So I have my 1 line a day here, my task log here, and as you can see, I wasn't able to hit it as often as I wanted. I do have my gratitude listed, and I do need to come back in and fill in for the weeks that I was away. And I do have my habits and my sleep in steps. I do need to update this. My Aura ring is actually charging. And once it's done, I'll upload the information and input this week's worth of information from when I was gone. This was my attempt at attending list, kind of like what you see in the power sheets, I think. And it's neat. It's a great idea. But I check in with myself weekly in a different process that works better for me. I'm glad I tried it. I think it's a really neat layout, but it really didn't work for me. So January really was a time of trial and error with some new elements I thought I might bring into my core system. And I realized pretty quickly that it was okay to let them go because they really weren't working for me. And I don't feel any guilt over like the purchase of this, because this is something I'm going to find a way to use this. I can promise you I'll find a way to use this, but I'll never make this type of purchase again because it's not my style of planning. Although I love watching other people do it, I am too nervous in the service with sticker placement and all that other stuff. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Like, I ripped up so many stickers and ripped so many pages, it was not even funny just in the first 2 weeks that I was like, okay, this isn't working for me. So the tending list idea is something that you won't see moving forward, but I'm glad I tried it. And then I have a splash page for my first week. I did build a landing page for this week. I have tipped in my weekly actions for this week. And behind that, I kept my intentions, my daily intentions that I had for the week. And then I just went into my dailies. And that follows a basic pattern. Some of the placement might change a little bit just based on how I was feeling that day or that week. Like here, you see my weekly actions are here, and there is no intention on this spread because one of the other things, when I realized this wasn't going to work for what I thought it was, I thought I'd put my intentions in here. Didn't really like it. So yeah, I learned my lesson with that big old thing, and it's huge. It really is huge. So we have my normal daily log going through, and then we get to my standard weekly review. Now, this is very minimal for me because, let's be honest, I haven't had time to think. But I did set my weekly actions. I did think about it. What did I need to pivot? And then I made those show up in my weekly actions. And I moved into week 3. And here you can see I have my standard daily running log with my notes on the side and then my weekly review. The one thing I'm noticing is because I have separated out some aspects of work from this planner, the consumption that I have on daily pages is far less some weeks and more other weeks. And I'm able to ebb and flow within the bullet journal, and that's why this system works so well for me. It allows me to set my intentions. It allows me to do my weekly, monthly, quarterly reviews with ease. It allows me to pivot and change as I need, and I'm really happy with that. I'm able to review what happened, set my actions, and then moving into the next week, I'm able to build what I need. And here you can see I have a packing list. I needed to get ready for a trip. I have my intentions set for this next week, but no weekly dashboard. You'll notice there's no weekly dashboard here. And that's because my weekly dashboard ended up living inside my iPad because I knew that that's what would be traveling with me. And so we have it here. I do have intentions listed out just in case I wanted to come in and do that. And I did before I left for my trip. I also set up my dailies a little bit different because I did some time tracking for this week here in my bullet journal, and that helped. But I realized for my personal and kind of mind mapping mentality, although I love having a time bar, you guys know me, I do. This is more work. This is more personal and thought oriented. And so the bullet journal started to morph away from that idea that everything had to be in one book into bringing in the alternate systems that I had. And this was a huge travel day I was up at 3 in the morning, at the airport by 5. Yeah, and spent the whole day at airports. And then I didn't get to my weekly review because that whole day, by the time I made it to my destination, I was so tired. I really didn't have the brain power to review. So I pulled together some goals and went from there. And then this whole week of January, as you can see, I utilized some more of that sticker paper, or not sticker paper, but the paper pack. I did have my intentions set up, and I had a weekly dashboard. I did have my tasks and not much else. I touched it on Monday, and this is today. This is the 29th of January, and I'm able to jump back in because everything that happened between Monday, well, actually Sunday, truthfully, and today went into my digital system, and we'll go over that. So with those learning lessons that I have, like my monthly review and my weekend review, I'll do tomorrow. My monthly review is set up so that I can go back and review what's going on in my life, figure out the things that I'm really proud of, things that I learned, how I handled this month. It was a big change from what I'm normally experiencing in my job. And so I'm going to be able to reflect on that and prepare moving forward. But I have gone ahead and set up February, and I want to show you what it looks like because I extracted the things that weren't working. I have my monthly splash page, you know, my month on 2 pages, and I've only put in a few things. I haven't really loaded this with work yet. I will do that tomorrow as I prepare for the week. I set up my daily log and this month's kind of brain dump with a home section and a work section. I created my gratitude log and my habits tracker. And all of the papers that you see here are from an Echo Park. I love Echo Park. I really do. And the stickers as well, these cute decorative stickers. They're the Echo Park paper packs. And this one is coffee themed, which I thought was apropos because I'm surviving off coffee. And I need to take a drink. So love the coffee theme, and you'll see that carried throughout the month of February. Saying a lot too. I'm tired. So my month on 2 pages, the daily log, the brain dump or pensive or brain spill, or at this point, I'm just calling it my tasks list. Gratitude habits, as you saw before. And then what I did was I left myself a page for notable moments so that I could come back and just write down some of those special things. This is a big month for my daughter. She has her championship swim meet in the middle of the month. We have 2 big family birthdays. My son starts spring football, things like that all start up. So I wanted to have a space to record some of those. I had a lot of fun with this paper pack. I really did. I made, you know, just kind of some little tab, not little, they're giant tabs, but they denote certain sections for me. This first one leads me into my monthly, or not monthly, but weekly dashboards or splash pages, so that as the month goes on, I can come in here and record certain things for certain days and tasks that need to happen on that week. That way I can migrate it into my daily, but this allows me to keep it organized and kind of pre-plan, if you know what I mean. And you'll see me do this off and on. Those of you who have been around, this is nothing new. You guys know that I add these or subtract them as I need them. This month, I'm going to need them. So I do have all the weeks, all the days and weeks set up already for February. And I gave it this little indicator so that I can quickly find it in my notebook, turn to it. Yes, I have tabs on the bottom, but I found these things fall off. So I also use those. Simple style, pretty clean, added a little color just to give it a little zhuzh. But for the most part, it's my typical style. So once we get done there, I went in and I love this page because if you read this, because adulting is hard, I need coffee every day. It's just a must. So I have my coffee stickers and all of the decor, and I'm really loving this kind of playful theme that ended up because of this paper pack. It's just kind of neat. This is the only one I'm not really happy with the placement. It was a really thick scene and I cut it down and it just didn't turn out well. And of course, it's the one thing I call out to you guys. But so this next section is my February goals section. And what I've done is taken the monthly goals from the Moxie Life Companion quarterly notebooks, and I've gone ahead and adhered them to the page so that I have them here as I'm moving into my daily section. And this is where the heartbeat of my planning and intentional lifestyle and meeting of my goals and becoming an authentic person happens. So my weekly is marked so that I can find it easily with this kind of side tab. And you can see they don't stick out a lot, but they're just enough for me to know where it's at. I've taken my weekly action items from the Moxie Life system and put them in right next to my intentions for each day of this week. And I did that on purpose because I want to remember what are those small steps that I'm taking for my monthly and yearly goals, and how am I going to align my intentions to those. So tomorrow I will go in, update my monthly goals, take a look at my January goals, see where I was at with them, what were my wins, what were my challenges, and how I'm going to pivot them. I'll build my new monthly goals. Then I will build my action steps for the week and my intentions so that I am aligning all of these pieces, my monthly to my yearly, to my weekly, to my daily. And then from there, I jump right into the first blank page that is set up for Monday the 31st. That is my bullet journal system. It's my core system. Like I said, it has taken on a bit of a flex because not as much work, the details of work are not being recorded in my bullet journal anymore. They're really living in OneNote, in Asana, and in the planner system that I have set up in my iPad. And I will tell you guys, iPad planning, digital planning is awesome, especially because I struggled with stickers and paper and all of this in the Moxie Life system. I really, really struggled. But when it comes to my digital planner, I don't have a problem using stickers and adding those things in because I can undo, I can erase, I can change, I can add or subtract whenever I want. And it makes it really easy for me. This is January's dashboard. So if you take a look at January here, the things that are on here are work related, with the exception of just a few major things that had to happen for family that were going to be affected by work. So like my daughter had their huge end of year, their last big meet at the university. And I knew I needed to bake 100 cookies and deliver those cookies here. But if you take a look at my work week, that was going to be a hard thing to do. And then here I was flying out again. And so I was away all this week. So that was a major event that was going to be impacted because of work that I needed to keep on my mind so that when I made decisions about work, I could accommodate for those. Those are really the only personal elements that are landing in this. And if you're wondering what notebook I'm using, this is actually a Hobonichi Cousin. It's the cousin. It's not the it's not the Hobo Hybrid by DigiSparkles. It's the Hobo like cousin version where it has the monthly, the weekly, and the daily, and not the Hobonichi week style that I had last year. And so I'm able to keep track of everything here for work. I can then navigate to the weekly and see what is happening each week, keep track, and you can see I'm utilizing color coding to track hours for my weekly click time reports and things like that. And then I'm able to go in each week and map my work week in that kind of time bar digital system with the major priorities or the major tasks that I need to address each day, documented and listed out. It also allows me to keep track of takeaways or major things that I want to keep on the forefront of my mind as I am reporting out from these different trips that I'm having to take to meet with clients and do my job. That's the weekly view. But the beauty is it doesn't just stop at a weekly view. It also has a daily view, which is very much like, here's Sunday. I'll show you the blank. It has a top for like your main 5 tasks. It has a time bar going here from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. And it has a second page for notes. So if you know the cousin at all, usually you only have this one page. This has 2, and it is beautiful because if I need more room on any given day, I can come in and copy the current template, and it basically gives me 2 Sundays. So if I really needed 4 pages to take notes on or to document what was going on in that day, I can do that at any given time. And it's easy to undo what you did. You don't have to worry about losing things. You can add as you want. So like Monday, a lot of my note taking wasn't actually done here because we were doing a learning needs analysis. And so we have forms and documents that I was able to, on my iPad, write all of that into those documents, convert it to text, and voila, it's done. So this digital planning system, in its simplicity, I loved the cousin. It just, in paper form, didn't really work well for me because I was always worried about bleeding through with marker colors and things like that, or stickering and it just got mucky. This is very clean. I can zhuzh it up all I want. I can undo stuff. I can keep track. So just to give you an idea, my bullet journal is set up with a coffee theme for the month of February. I was able to utilize sticker packs and create images that I wanted to build out my February work system. Now, I haven't filled anything in yet. That's what I will do tomorrow. I'll fill in everything for work that's on my digital calendar right now and put it in, and then be able to go in and start building what my week is going to look like. And this is a pretty good example of what my week starts looking like. I maybe have 2 or 3 meetings on the books, but by the end of the week, it looks a lot different. There may be like 10 meetings on these books and notes and tasks and things like that. I do also track the things I have to do every week for work, different reports that I need to do, and make sure that I get them done by their due dates. So that's the week. And then when I need to, each morning of work, I can come in here, and once I've done my morning routine, I've set my intentions for the day, I've mapped out what I need to do at a personal level, I can then transition into this digitized form of a planner, because yes, I could just use Google Calendar, or actually we use Outlook for work. I could use the tasks and things like that. It doesn't cement in my brain unless I write it down. And because I can write it down in this digital planner, I write out my tasks. I build my day. I take my notes right on these pages. It's like having this bullet journal, but it's in the digital form. And so that's my work system. I mentioned that I also created my own digital bullet journal, and I did. I went through, and this is very simplistic. I didn't put any like binding or anything. I wanted a whole page of real estate to work with. And so this really worked for me, especially in travel. I was able to take January and build it out so that I had all of the same components that I have in my paper bullet journal, so that when I go on trips, I don't have to take this and this and this and my laptop and, right? I just have to take this system and I have what I need. I did set it up so that I have kind of big idea areas where I can get to certain things in my planner. I have a year at a glance. I have a daily journaling section. I have a collection section, and I have a notes taking section. Along the side, I have each month of the year set up with a calendar, a blank calendar that I can go in and set up. And then on each month, I've given it 5 weeks. So I did not take the time to go in and create weeks 1 through 52, or actually 53 this year. I just made it so that I have tabs that I can go to week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and be able to have my week set up. And I'll show you how that worked in January. So in January, I had my monthly page, and then I had a weekly plan. And I think if you look at this, you can see it looks very similar to what I do in my bullet journal. So if you take a look at my weekly splash pages in my bullet journal, it's very similar. I have kind of that vertical appointment schedule, a meal plan, a to buy, habits, and to-dos. I have that also over in my bullet journal. So basically, I created a digital version of my bullet journal so that I can record everything I want to record when I am not physically next to my bullet journal, but I know that I'm going to have this with me. Then I went so far as to creating dailies where I can do what I want. I can put my personal routines. I can build my daily intentions. I can take journal notes, add stickers, do what I want, and be able to basically have my bullet journal be here in digital form. And I don't mind not having everything linked 1,000 times over, because nothing is linked in a paper planner, right? You have to flip. But I do have navigation links that allow me to get to the different things, like the different sections quickly. Here's another weekly that I tried out. And then I go straight into my dailies, and I tried different dailies here, just playing with it, seeing what worked for me. I will tell you, I used both in conjunction with each other so that I could get a good idea of what I was touching my bullet journal for, my physical paper bullet journal, and what I was touching this bullet journal for. And as I went, and you can see the days that I wasn't traveling, there's nothing in here. They're set up, but there's nothing in here. The days I was traveling, then you get to see what happened because I updated my bullet journal. Like here, I was traveling and I recorded my daily intentions because that practice doesn't stop just because I travel. I was able to record my daily intentions here. I was also able to record my personal elements in this planner when I was no longer next to my physical bullet journal, and you can see when I was home. So I've kind of been able to, through just perseverance and being willing to try to make my own planner, I've been able to create a system that works for me when I'm home by using my bullet journal and my digital work planner, as well as when I'm away by creating a digital bullet journal that mimics what I have in my paper system. And honestly, guys, it takes 10 minutes or a half an hour for me to sit while I'm watching a game with my husband and get it set up each week. But because I'm traveling so much, and it could be 2 or 3 days here or a week there, I'm going ahead and taking the time to kind of do the redundant nature of this in setting it both up in my personal bullet journal, which honestly, this is never going to go away. I was talking with my husband. This brings me such joy and happiness, and it also allows me to really filter the thoughts and actions that I take each and every day, every week, every month, and throughout the year. It's my focal point. This is here to act as a tool to be my focal point when I really don't have this next to me. And to be honest with you, I don't take this on a trip because I had a bullet journal get ruined on a trip 2 years ago, and it was kind of devastating. So I tried to minimize taking these elements out of the house when I know that, they easily could get lost in the shuffle of travel life. So that's that. I wanted to show you a couple other things, and I know this video is super long. I hope you stick through it. But I will tell you, this tool, this iPad is probably the next most cherished element in my system to this, because I've finally been able to make the two systems work without feeling like I was spinning my wheels. They work in conjunction every single day that I'm home. I have both of these with me at all time. Every single day that I'm at work, I have both of these with me at all time. And so these really are the two things that I touch every single day. The next thing that I touch is my Hobonichi weeks. And you guys know, this is my purse planner. I do a very minimal setup. Like, I will decorate a little bit, give it a little bit of decor, and just kind of pick up whatever theme I'm using in my main systems. I'll bring it over here with some of the extras and some of the scrap, and just kind of keep it all cohesive, because yeah, I'm like that. And then I just build out a simple week. Like this morning, my husband and I were meal planning, and we did the meal plan, and we went ahead and did the grocery list, and we went and did what we needed to do. And I was able to have this in my purse. I take it anyway. I will put all of my credit cards and everything back in here because it also acts as my wallet. And so this is my purse planner. I did buy a Mega because, sometimes I need to take notes, like when I'm at the doctor or I'm out and about and I want to jot something down. I did purchase the Mega so that I have that ability. And it also back here contains a lot of reference materials for my family that I will keep. And then this will get archived with all of my bullet journals at the end of the year. So that's that. And then the last thing I wanted to show you, and just because I wasn't sure how the bullet journal was going to work out, I told you that I did buy the Kinboard because I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to pay the price for Hobonichi if I wasn't going to use it. And I will tell you guys, there are things that I absolutely adore about this planner. The price is one of them, but I love the fact that, like, the real estate isn't taken up with a lot of like quotes and things like that in a language that I don't use. And so I have been able to use this. I don't touch it all the time, but when I'm feeling like I want to touch a paper planner and kind of map out my week, it's here. Like I said, I bought it because I wasn't sure that the iPad system was going to work, but the iPad system is. But should I want to not use the iPad any given week, I can come in and use this planner. So the red one is like the front half of the cousin. It gives you, and I'm sure you've watched videos, it gives you the year at a glance. It gives you pre-planning, like future planning pages. And what I like is how big these are. Do you see that? Like on the Hobonichi, you get 6 months here and, or yeah, is it 6 months or 4 and 4? These are broken up so that you have 2 months per page, which gives you lots of real estate. And you can, I was thinking this would be awesome for tracking, for habit tracking. If you don't want to use it as a pre-planner, because the truth of the matter is you have every single month of the year already printed out. So you can do your pre-planning straight in the monthly layouts. So if I were to get an itch to use a paper planner that's not my bullet journal or not my digital, I can jump in here and do that if I want to. And I might get that itch. I'm not going to say I won't. But you have all 12 weeks or all 12 months set up. And then you have a few extra pages, and I'm not going to go into them. There's like 4,000 videos on these. And yes, it was total FOMO, but at the price, I wasn't. It was much better FOMO than this FOMO, right? This was an epic fail at a big price tag. This, if I even use it a little bit at like $10 a piece, is not that big of a deal to me. So, you know, I spend that in many other ways. So once you're done with the months, you get into the weekly, and it's set up a little differently from the cousin. It's set up more like I think the Jibun Techo is, but you do get your timed vertical. You have the sidebar. You have space for gratitude or tasks, whatever you want to put down here. These up here, if you're not an early riser like me, you could use them to prioritize tasks for the day and then put gratitude at the bottom and track your day. And that's all that's in here. There are no dedicated daily pages in this red weekly planner. It gives you every week of the month of the year, and then it gives you an index, which I have to say a 2-page index is awesome. And then it gives you blank pages, numbered blank pages, and you get 60 of those, 60 numbered blank pages for notes that you can index if you're wanting to, like for me, this would be work oriented. So if I'm in a meeting and take notes, I can index what page that meeting was on. And then just like the cousin, there are timetables and different, you know, a 21-day plan. There's different tools in here that you can use, like your favorites, your favorite books, your favorite movies, podcasts, journals that you're reading, whatever. It does have, I thought this was cool, it does have the international paper sizes for both B and A paper and notebooks, and it also gives you the exact measurements in a table format. Now it is in the metric system, which works for me. That I don't mind the metric system. And so gives you a map, world map, and then it gives you kind of like recommendations of things and so on and so forth. And then you get to the end. The one thing I will say is this paper is not quite as forgiving of pens as, say, the Hobonichi. It feels like Tomoe River paper, but it's not. And I did find that most of my pens or markers actually do ghost rather heavily or bleed through to some degree. So I'm just going to use this little Pilot Juice Up. I really don't, like I said, I'm not sure how often I'll be using it, but it's here in case I want to. And I think I'll end up using, especially for like scratch notes and things at the end of the day, I think this will become part of my power down routine, where I take 10 minutes every day, think about what were the major takeaways from the day, what were the things I need to pay attention to moving into the next day. I think that I can use that in conjunction with my daily planner that is in my digital system if I want to. And I may not, because I already do that in my digital system. But for whatever reason, if I want to, I can use it. And that's it. That's January and February. And this is probably an enormous video. I don't know how long it is because I can't look. But that's what I'm doing. So that's my update. And now that I'm kind of in my system and I understand it, I will be checking back with you guys. I did want to maybe do a weekend review with you and then go into building that next week together and building my weekly actions, kind of giving you more and more of a glimpse of how I am attempting to hit my yearly goals, my monthly goals, my weekly actions, and living an intentional life to become, to keep that ideal of being authentic in all ways for the year. And so it all works together, and that's it. So if you stuck through till here, I hope you guys have had a wonderful January. But I have a question. How many of you did what I did? How many of you started something and fairly quickly realized that that wasn't going to really work out for the rest of the year? How many of you have kind of played or experimented with different aspects of your planning routine this year? Or how many of you are like, nope, I have found it, I am happy, and I am sticking with it for now? Because I never believe that I will hit a point in life where everything is perfect and it is the thing I will do for the rest of my life. I think that doesn't allow you to learn or grow or change. And so let me know how things are going for you. I missed you guys horribly, and I will try to stop in this next month. I have 2 trips, so I'll try to stop in at least 1, if not 2 more times, and we'll go through some of those things we talked about. But for now, from my house to yours, from my heart to yours, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.